easily turn it.
Last night, yeah.
But it's this motor turning that turns the screw that makes the lift go up and down. That's it. They do sell, by the way, some kind of gizmo you put on the bottom of the motor, and it will, what's the word I'm looking for? Like an emergency thing, if you don't have electricity going to it. I've tried, what do you call those things? Damn, I didn't mean this to be 30 damn minutes long. But if you're like me and you're working on this, this is a God-sent video, because nobody makes videos for stuff like this. Anyway, this is a shaded shaft, a shaded pole. Matter of fact, it might even be shaded the same way this end is. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is. How about that? They're both shaded at the same end.
What do you mean?
So all you really need is a shaded pole anything. This is a common, very common size of an air conditioner fan motor. They use shaded poles. And I don't know if you noticed that. I just took it off the top and put it on the bottom. And it's the same shaded pole. Matter of fact, it's shaded on the same side. Both of them are pointed to my left, well, perfectly out to my left. As I look at it, this being 0 degrees, it's 360 degrees to the left. 360 to the, it's 260 to the left, or a 90-degree angle from where I'm pointing. So, see how this stuff just comes apart so easy once you start messing with it. Wish I could tell you what this is for, this damn spring here. I'm sure it's going to come to my mind. I just can't. Unless it's just a safety device that lets it go one way and not the other. I can't imagine that they do that. When there's, I forgot to cover that clunk, 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 clunk you hear. When it, I believe that clunk, clunk, clunk that you hear is right below this gear right here. I had it off once already, I forgot to tell you. I believe that the clunk, clunk, clunk you hear is right between these two. I don't know if you can see there. There's a little space in there. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a
just keep a close watch. If there's infection, the tantalum acts as a foreign body. You have to remove it. If you'll excuse me, I have
plastic or nylon ball, for lack of a better word, round ball, maybe 4 of them, one on each side, and it's, I don't know what's holding it together. Maybe it's a keeper. I haven't looked that close at it. To be honest with you, I should look at it a little closer.
As long as the harbor lights are on, you're never going to see things.
Yeah, it's a keeper.
No, I see things very clearly.
There's a keeper on the bottom. I guess these could wear out. I don't let mine go clunk, clunk, clunk that often. If you let it sit there and go clunk, I think you know the noise I'm trying to describe. It's like when you get to maximum end or the other end, it makes a funky plastic clunking sound. And I believe that plastic clunking sound comes from this. If you worn that out, obviously you have to pop this keeper off right here, which takes, I don't know if you can see that, two little holes up here at the top, that one and that one. You have to pop that open. Yeah, because what is that, Newton's law? Fig Newton's law? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Let your heart do the talking.
That may be it. It may have something to do with what this bottom gizmo does. Although I honestly can't grasp in my head what that bottom spring is for, that clutch. I will think about it overnight, and I still may not come up with the answer. As long as it works, that's the main thing. But that could break. That would be one repair that could be necessary. But I've seen these. They may look like they're weak.
Don't tell me, tell Laverne.
As you'd say, how's that little tiny springy piece of metal holding up 250 pounds of weight? It's a piece of cake for him for some reason. The way the metal wraps around the shaft. Like I said, I used to work on IBMs, and I couldn't believe the strength behind it. We use these for carriage returns. IBM, a shaft would turn, and of course it was a smaller version of this, and electromagnetic would. No, it wasn't even electromagnetic. The key that you pressed did a little pivot and pressed a little nylon shoe against this. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. It pressed a little nylon shoe against this, and it would cause the spring to, like I said, it only goes in one direction. It goes one way, but not the other. One way. You don't want to put a lot of space in there too, and try to turn it the other way. Otherwise, you break that spring and go right inside between the two pieces of metal. You can't see it, but there are two halves of metal right here. I can't understand why. I don't know why. I'm trying to figure out in my head. Why would you not want this shaft to turn one way and not the other? And up is turning it one direction, down turns it another direction. That part makes little to no sense to me. Little to no sense. I don't know if is there a washer on that bottom part? Well, it's probably not a washer on this bottom part. It's just metal to metal. There's not one on the motor. There's not one on the intermediate gear. However, let's see what's going on. Yeah, I don't remember. There's more here that just meets the eye.
No, but I've got to call into the White House.
If that's a washer, it hasn't fallen off yet. That's all I can say. No, it's not a washer. It's a piece of brass, which is a bearing, that's pressed down into this gear. I suppose these gears could break. I guess like that. That Thick Newton's law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So any part of this that I'm holding in my hand can go wrong. Sometimes I see people holding these things, and I say, why in the hell won't they hold it a certain direction for me? I've tried to hold this for you guys every direction I can. I don't know how I can get more explicit. 35 friggin' minutes of showing you the different directions. There's how you take the motor off. Once you get the motor out, you see two brushes. You clean the armature if it's not making electricity connection. But please don't ever go that far until you check with a voltmeter whether or not you have electricity. Many times this thing could be dead as a doornail, And it could be something as simple as a switch. I've seen these switches wear out.
Germs invade through your nose, the body's air filter. But how do you
This thing, even though it takes 15 amps or less, I have seen these switches over 30 years. You'll get a little arc in between them. My friend Adrian can attest to this. We actually popped one of these apart. You probably won't believe it. But you can see in there, it's actually made to be put together by robotics, I think. But we popped one of these apart, and inside that switch, it would work with a voltmeter when we checked it with a voltmeter, but it wouldn't work under real power. It was driving us friggin' nuts. Voltmeter would show there was conductivity, but it wouldn't work. It would not work. I guess it's helpful that I'm mentioning this. Power was coming into it. You could see spark, spark, spark. If I did anything, and it intermittently would cause the motor to kick in for a half a second and kick up for a half a second. So we there was like microscopic. Yeah, I couldn't see it with I guess with a microscope I could, but it looked like they were making contact, but they weren't. Not enough contact to create enough power for this to go through, which would be none, because otherwise it arcs. That's the whole idea behind a switch, is a tiny arc, unless they're gold, and then there'll be no arc. Gold is the best electric conductor of electricity. That's why all your phones, except the cheap charging parts, are gold. And if you look at your credit card, the contacts are gold. Most people don't know that. They're actual real gold plated. It's so thin. Gold is so thin that it can literally wear off if you use the credit card enough times. Gold is so thin that they even put it in glass to tint windows, so that shows you how thin gold can be made. Anyway, get off of gold. This switch can go bad. And some of the lifts, for example, that are used on trailers will use this exact switch. They can go bad. Take them apart. If you can, take it apart, and there'll be like a rocker. 2 rockers in there. I'm really magnifying this like by 1,000 times, and there'll be on each end will be a contact. And when you flip the switch up, the rocker flips and touches 2 wires together. Now keep in mind, the rocker is sitting down in a little socket that has already got the center energized, conducting by the center. When you flip it the other way, these weren't connecting either way. I mean, they acted like they were, but they weren't, and they measured on the ohmmeter that they were. So we took them out. We got a real super smooth emery cloth, and we filed them until they was as shiny as almost mirror to a mirror shine. Put them back in there, and put this switch back together. Worked like a champ. Blew me away. It's the weirdest, one of the most wildest repairs I've ever done in my entire 66-year life. That's how whacked out that repair was. And it looks so simple. And the ohmmeter, it passes the ohmmeter test. I don't know if you can hear this. It's a momentary, what they call a momentary switch. You don't even have to use a momentary switch for these. If you pay attention to it, oh, I'm sorry. In your particular case, I forgot that you may have an electronic PC board, and if you got that little arm that comes out, that's actually a double-purpose arm. Not only does it make the leg go up and down, but when it's closed down, it will, there's a little arm in it that will lock your damn, what do you call it, your motor system up. If you're click, and then all you hear is click, or click. What the hell is that? It's got to be a nylon gear, some nylon balls in here. That's all I can tell you that make the clicking sound, because the noise comes from the top of this thing. So it's got to be some nylon balls in there that when this gear starts turning and the screw can no longer turn, them balls start slipping, nylon balls start slipping in this little divider here. Otherwise, this would be solid. There'd be no reason for anything to be here whatsoever. But there is something there. What else could it be? I don't know if it's just setting on. Man, it's got to be pressure. It's got to be pressed on, because if it weren't, unless the tolerances are so good, just putting a keeper on makes it perfectly, like steel, for example. You see how nice that gear came off of there? Believe me, it would not just pop off there like that. This is me trying to show you something. When we first took it off there, it was I can't believe that did that so easy. Anyway, so
and because she's not married to an American anymore, they're deporting her.
Oh, wonderful. She comes to America and gets run over by the welcome.
What else can I cover that might go wrong?
So what can we do?
Oh, guy, you don't understand. He's due to be discharged in 3 weeks. All he wants is to leave a week early so he can see his mother before she's sent back to Holland.
Now, one thing I'm not covering here is if this, I guess this can break. I just trying to figure out, why do they want it to go? I don't know if you can see the gear on top. When I switch this, the gear will turn. That's not going to do it.
Excuse me, Grumpy. I'm afraid you're not afraid enough.
What am I doing different than I was doing earlier?
Company clerk? Aye, sir. I'm the personal attaché of our own commanding officer, Charles Emerson Winchester III. Or as we in Leeds like
one way it turns, the other way it doesn't. Let me see if I can.
Put him in charge. You wanted to volunteer for a
kamikaze school. Okay, if you see,
today I'm older and busier. Now, if you just excuse me, I have to get
you see the whole spring turns? But then now it's not turning, but yet when I go this way, it's turning again. Okay, which theoretically means if this doesn't turn,
so you see, I need the phone. This is at least a day's worth of wheeling and stealing. Something smells fishy here, and the anchovies haven't arrived yet.
Counterclockwise, let's see.
His personal caterer.
Which way the motor would have to turn for that to get interesting here to me. I'm just going to put this one gear on because it's so hard to make that what I do wrong. Oh, let's go. You can get screwed up quick on these, let me tell you. This goes on first and goes down. Isn't that funny? Such a simple, I mean, you might think, if you didn't, it does go that way. It just was waning. Jesus Christ. I'm losing it. Anyway, there's really no other way to put it. I don't think you can put it on upside down. Yeah, you can't put it on upside down. If you try it, A, it ain't gonna go. B, you might be inclined to put it on first and then the other one second. It ain't gonna work. Well, I wonder if it would look that way. I'm gonna end up screwing my own brain up here. You did it backwards.
Well, then you shall have him. Max, please place the captain's call. I'm such an old softy.
Oh, thank you. A million thanks, your softiness.
Always ready to do a little something.
No, that's the right way. I'm sorry.
Place the call. I'd like to see you in my
You
chambers.
did it backwards.
Here you are, sir.
Oh, wait a minute now. How'd I have it backwards?
And remember, in case you're planning a palace coup, I can be bought.
This is Colonel Mulholland. What can I do for you, Dr. Pierce?
I'm calling about your private Yost Van leader.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to show you right there.
Well, that's what I want to talk to you about.
And then this goes here, so that you see the motor doing its thing. There wouldn't be quite as much play in it, but since I've had problems here with this, that, and the other, it's got a little edge to it, it's got a little wobble. My guess is that much wobble is not wobbling when it's new.
He just wants to get out a week early.
It's probably that play has developed over the years, which doesn't hurt anything, because once you put that cap on, everything falls in the holes, and you're not going to get it no better.
We're all supposed to be on the same side. Why don't we try to help each
But
other?
this can break, but I can't see it here. That was the whole idea of me taking this one gear out, was to tell you what I think this could be used for.
Why, we've even named today's lunch after you. His Majesty on a shingle.
This one, see this way, when I'm going one direction, now that's the big gear is going clockwise right now.
The American soldier travels on his stomach.
If you see what I see, it's going clockwise. It's going toward, the outside's going towards my face, which is clockwise.
Excuse me? Isn't that just like a king? We spend all morning poisoning his food.
The intermediate gear, of course, is going counterclockwise.
Mob wars break out in Brooklyn.
So,
well, that's certainly civilized. I'm trying to read.
What in the world would they have if not
Reader's response saves GI.
lift?
The Stars and Stripes on the flight of Staff Sergeant Martin Apelsky prompted the
They only have it going
Hey, maybe that's it. Do you mind?
clockwise. I only have it lifting, I should say.
Come with me. Clear, you will do no such thing. I am trying to help that Marine, and I need
If
clear.
it's going,
Well, you may have him back in an hour, though. My God, I've been traded. Thanks for the lovely peasant. I ask you, has not Yost Van Leader given more than was asked of him?
yeah, this would be pushing down, and this is going
Did he
counterclockwise.
not voluntarily agree
The screw is pushing it
to defend
downward.
his chosen country?
The shaft at the bottom.
Defend his
Otherwise,
Give him hell, Hawkeye.
pushing
Is
down
there
on
even one man in all
on the chair
Korea
lift.
so cruel as one ass, just one ass, one ass,
Yeah, the theory, why would it want
as to begrudge
to go one way? I thought you could just turn the direction of the motor.
a mere week,
And it would.
To visit
Well, that's what you do electronically, is turn the position of the motor.
And what?
That actually kind of fascinates me right at the moment.
Woe-begotten woman. Woe-begotten woman. Lost between two shores.
So it would act like it was in neutral.
In the heartless chess game.
Of course, with no pressure on this.
I say she has suffered enough.
Oh, it doesn't make any
Enough
difference
pain and enough anguish.
whether it's
A
got.
divorce, a deportation
So
hearing,
what the hell is the purpose behind it?
the wounding of her sole surviving son. Shame, shame, shame. All three shames. All three shames. All three shames.
Unless it's open,
Terrific. You really know
it's
how
got to
get
be
along.
open
For we
in order
will all be
to not do anything. It's about what it boils down to, no matter if it's going right or left.
what America really stands for.
Once it's open, it's open. That's the way it was on the IBM. It was
You really
when there was no pressure on the
Actually, that last part came to the beginning.
on the end of this.
Okay, make two copies for us.
Identical setup, just smaller, maybe 10% smaller.
What is this? What is this? By B.F. Pierce.
But you would have a little nylon shoe here
This is my art.
that would put pressure. You see this little, I don't know if you see this moving open or not,
Will rest in peace. Erase that.
but this won't do nothing but spin. You see I'm turning this,
In the American way.
but the gears are not turning.
It's wonderful.
Okay.
My knowledge of English is short,
But yet if I turn it back the other way,
I also write wonderfully
the gears
exciting
turn,
prescriptions.
see?
Pharmacists can't put them down.
Do you
Gears
think the
turn.
newspaper will print that, sir?
You bet
But
your
not
word
if I
Contact
go-
will say, well, when people see this story, you're gonna
Now
be
if I do the bottom, it doesn't matter which.
Right this way, Mr.
If I let go of this, it doesn't matter which way. Those gears are turning. I'll come hell or high water. But for some reason, when you open this up, it doesn't allow that to happen. Why in the world would they have that there? There's no clutch touching it. No reason I can see to use it.
Especially when it's in a newspaper. You probably got the
Unless there's some self-adjusting mechanism that I haven't put my head around yet.
Who goes there?
Only thing I could figure,
What's going on, huh?
let's see.
Evidently my quill has ruffled a few marine feathers.
For shame,
What's the
Hawkeye.
reason? What could be the reason behind
I'll be
this?
worried I'm going to do a follow-up.
Doesn't matter which way you go.
Story, man.
Should I go with you and bring the salt for his wounds?
No. Pleasure is all mine. What the?
It's gonna grab.
What's going on here? What are these two behemoths doing?
Anything they
There
want.
is no.
Colonel Mulholland has issued an order for this man's arrest.
It's that Van Leader kid. They want to talk to me about some writing I've been
Oh,
doing
you
for
can
him.
see
Sort of a
this.
samurai seminar.
There is no.
Informed of this. How dare you come lumbering
This
into my
doesn't want to
camp
move.
and Shanghai, one of my
Once,
finest.
I mean, if this ain't in the right place, you can actually have it far enough where the gear doesn't touch it. You see? That may be because we kind of wore. It's kind of worn out, but it doesn't matter once you put it into position. And these three holes line up with the three holes above it. It all falls into place.
To order us off
So I don't know if that's just for ease of changing it or if we've literally got a worn unit. That I can't answer you. All I can say is it's not got me worried the least bit because I know once those three holes are together, these two, which are held by, so in case you're paranoid,
You showed him exactly what you're made of, your royal pudding.
that are held by the brass hole and the little hole closest to the brass hole. In my case, your gear ratio may be different. It might depend on whether it's a 250-pound lift.
Connected by love.
See, this is closest to.
Representing the connection you share.
Closest to. That speeds it up, believe it or not. Your speed barrier.